I came to Thailand thinking it would be the end of something. My marriage had collapsed, my kids barely called, and my body was breaking down faster than I could keep up with. I didn't come looking for love. I didn't even think I deserved it anymore. Then she touched my hand. Just a massage, just 10 minutes, that's all it was supposed to be. But the way she looked at me, like I was still someone worth seeing, shook something loose inside me I thought had died years ago. Her name was Mali. She didn't ask for much, just time, quiet meals, and sometimes silence. And before I knew it, she had all of me. My time, my trust, my money, my hope. People warned me. They said I was being used. Maybe I was, but I'd already decided I'd rather be used than die invisible. And she made me feel anything but invisible. I didn't plan to walk into that shop. I didn't plan anything that day, I just walked. Heat pressing into my back, sweat soaking through my shirt, and my left knee screaming. The beach was behind me, my hotel 2 blocks too far. The sign above me said Lana Orchid Massage. I didn't even read it, I just opened the door. "Hello," she said, small voice, soft smile. "You want massage?" I nodded. "Back. Hour. Maybe more if it helps," she pointed gently. "You can change there. Lie down, face whole." Her English was clipped but clear. I moved slow. My bones don't move like they used to. I stripped to my shorts, laid face down, and tried not to think about the mess I'd made of my life. The table creaked as I settled, then her hand started. "You stay Phuket long?" "Don't know. Haven't decided." "You come alone?" "Yeah, wife left, kids grown, just me now." She didn't respond, just pressed her thumbs into my shoulder blades like she was reading my spine. "You have pain here?" she said. "Everywhere." "You from America?" I nodded into the table. 67. Retired, divorced. Son won't call, daughter sends holiday texts if I'm lucky. Sorry," she said softly. I didn't mean to keep talking, but I did. She took the house, I got the arthritis. That's the trade, I guess. "You have girlfriend now?" she asked. I let out a sound, maybe a laugh, maybe a groan. "No, just me and this sunburn." She giggled but didn't say anything else. I felt her hand slow down, move gentler. "What's your name?" I asked. "Molly." "I'm Gary." "Nice to meet you, Mr. Gary," she said. "You relax now." But I didn't relax, not really. I kept waiting for the part where it felt fake. But she didn't push anything. No menu of extras, no flirt, no rush, just silence and steady pressure. And something about that, it got to me. "You like massage in Thailand?" she asked quietly. "It's the first time in a long while anyone's touched me without hating me for it." She didn't answer. I turned my head slightly. I could see her sandals near the table, neat and plain. "How long you been doing this?" "Long time," she said. "My daughter stay with my sister. I work here." I didn't push. I just nodded. When the hour ended, she said, "Finish now, okay?" "Yeah." I sat up slow, blinked at the low light. "Thank you," she smiled again. "You take care, Mr. Gary." Outside, the sun hadn't changed, but I had. I didn't know why that hour mattered so much. Maybe it was her voice, maybe the quiet, maybe just being noticed. But I knew I'd be back tomorrow, and maybe the day after that. I went back the next morning before the shop even opened. I stood outside pretending to read something on my phone, but I was just waiting to hear her voice again. When the door finally opened, she blinked in surprise. "Mr. Gary," she said, brushing her hair back. "You early?" I smiled. "Didn't sleep. Thought maybe you could fix that again." She laughed. "Okay, come in. I make tea for you." She didn't have to. I would have stayed even without it. The massage was just the excuse. What I really wanted was her voice, her hands, her company. That first week, I came every day. "You not bored of me yet?" she asked once, tilting her head. "Not even close," I said. "I brought you something." It was a small bag of mangosteen and a cold coffee. She took it like I'd handed her gold. Thank you. I like this very much. I sat on the stool while she poured tea into small cups. You always this kind? She asked. Only for women who press into my spine until I can breathe again. She laughed again. Light, short, real. You funny, she said. That laugh stayed in my head longer than I liked to admit. I started looking forward to the walk to the shop, counting the hours in between visits. You have children? I asked one day. She nodded. One girl, 8 year, stay with my sister in Royette. I asked too many questions after that. What's her name? Nan. Do you get to see her? Only once or twice a year. No school near my village. I send money. She stay with auntie. I didn't know what to say. Just nodded, stared at my tea. You miss her? She didn't speak right away. Then, every day, I felt something twist in my chest. That night, I lay in bed with the fan spinning above me, thinking about how a woman like her could survive with that kind of hurt tucked behind her smile. I didn't understand it, but I admired it. The next morning, I brought 2 coffees instead of 1. She took hers without a word, sat beside me outside the shop and sipped quietly. You think I just want your money? She asked suddenly. I blinked. No, did someone say something? She shrugged. Some men come here, think they buy love, not same with you. I waited, then said, I don't want to buy anything. I just like seeing you. She looked at me, not flirty, not shy, just searching. Okay, she said, and in that moment I felt something shift. Not in her, in me. I hadn't felt this alive in years. I hadn't wanted someone to want me back in even longer. I didn't know if it was love, but it was something I didn't want to lose. Not now, not again. I asked her if she wanted to have dinner with me, and for a second she didn't say anything. She looked down, then back at me. Not in shop? She asked. I shook my head. Not massage, just eat, talk, no pressure. She smiled, shy but real. Okay, I finish work at 7. I waited outside, heart thumping like I was back in high school. When she stepped out, she wore a light blue dress, nothing fancy, but it stopped me cold. You look beautiful, I said. She laughed a little. No makeup today. Doesn't matter, I said. You could wear a potato sack and still outshine the moon. She blushed, didn't answer. We walked down to the pier where an old man grilled fish over a rusted cart. She ordered for both of us, sticky rice and papaya salad on the side. We sat on a wooden bench by the water, waves slapping against the dock like a soft drum. You always eat alone? She asked. Most days. I stopped cooking when the divorce came. Cold food's easier than silence. She tilted her head. You sad man. Sometimes, but not tonight. She pulled a small napkin from her purse and dabbed her lips. You very different from other man. How so? I asked. You not ask dirty thing. You not drink. You listen. I looked down at my plate. Maybe I just forgot how to want anything more than peace. She leaned back, eyes on the water. I like peace too. For a while we didn't talk. We just watched the lights reflect off the ocean, chewing quietly. You think I'm pretty? She asked suddenly. I think you're stunning, I said. But it's not just that. You're gentle. I haven't been around gentle in a long time, she smiled, then reached over and placed her hand on mine. It wasn't fast, not flirtatious. It was slow, like she wanted me to feel it, not question it, and I did. I felt everything at once. The loneliness, the years, the warmth. Her skin against mine cracked something open inside me. I forgot what that kind of touch even felt like. I not good woman, she whispered. Why would you say that? I asked. Because I work massage, because I need help, because I not same life like you. That doesn't make you bad, I said. That makes you human. She didn't speak after that, just looked at our hands. We stayed like that until our food turned cold. I walked her back to her building. When we stopped at the gate, she said, "Thank you for today." "Thank you for saying yes," I replied. She looked at me again, softer this time. "Tomorrow you come?" If you want me to. Yes, she said, and then she disappeared behind the gate. I stood there longer than I needed to, hand still warm from hers, and for the first time in 5 years, I didn't want to go back to my room alone. I'd booked another 2 weeks at a nicer place with air conditioning that didn't groan all night. When I told her, she looked at me and said, "You not tired of Phuket yet?" I smiled. "I'm not tired of you yet." She laughed softly, but I saw something behind her eyes, like she didn't know how to handle it. I took a breath and said, "You don't need to work while I'm here. Spend the days with me. I'll cover it." She shook her head. "No, I can't. I don't want you to think I come with price. It's not that," I said. "I want time with you. That's all." She looked down at her hands, then back at me. "Okay, only if you really want." "I do," I said. "I want you in my world." From that day on, we spent nearly every waking moment together. She showed me the quiet parts of Phuket, places tourists didn't go. One afternoon she brought me to a tiny cafe near her niece's apartment. "This my niece, Fawn," she said. "She help with video call." Fawn held up a cracked phone, waved at me, then called Mali's daughter. When that little girl's face filled the screen, Mali's whole posture changed, softer, smaller. "Hi, baby," she whispered. "Mommy miss you." I stood behind her, watching silently. When the call ended, she handed the phone back and said nothing. I asked quietly, "You okay?" She nodded, but her eyes were red. "I missed her too much," she said. "You ever think about going back?" "No work there. No future. I stay here. I survive." I didn't know what to say, so I just held her hand. That night, while we sat outside eating grilled chicken on sticks, I said, "I want to take you somewhere tomorrow, something peaceful." She tilted her head. "Where? Temple. You said you haven't gone in a long time. You remember?" "I remember everything you say." At the temple, she lit incense and knelt with her eyes closed. I didn't understand the rituals, but I understood the stillness in her. Afterward, she looked at me and said, "You different from other Farang. Why?" "You listen, you don't push. You stay quiet but close. Is that a good thing?" She nodded. "I feel safe with you." My heart pulled tight. "I'm not rich," I said, "but I can take care of you. Not just money, I mean. Really take care of you." She didn't speak right away. Then she said, "You already do." That night I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, realizing I hadn't thought about home in days, not my old house, not my old life. Just her. The way she held chopsticks. The way she looked at her phone before smiling. I told myself I wasn't falling, but I was, fast, and maybe that scared me more than I wanted to admit. It was late, just after 10, when I walked her to her building like I always did. She squeezed my hand, leaned close, and said, "Thank you for dinner. You spoil me too much." I kissed the side of her head, not her lips, just soft like we'd started doing lately. As we turned the corner, I saw him, leaning against the wall near her gate, smoking, arms crossed. Young, maybe 30, tattoos on his left arm. Molly stopped walking. "Who's that?" I asked. Her grip on my hand loosened. "My cousin," she said quickly. "He's just come from village," I looked at her. "Cousin?" "Yes, he asked me for help this week. Need room for sleep." Her voice didn't shake, but she didn't look at me. Not once. "Okay," I said. "You want me to wait?" She shook her head. "No need. I talked to him quick. You go. I call you later, okay?" I hesitated, nodded, and walked off. Halfway down the street, I turned to look back, but they were already gone behind the gate. I didn't sleep that night. I stared at the ceiling and told myself not to overthink. Maybe it was her cousin, maybe it was true, but in the morning, no text. By noon, still nothing. I called once, no answer. Twice, nothing. I stared at my phone like a dog waiting for its owner to come home. At 2 p.m. she finally messaged, "Sorry, my daughter's sick. I take care. Talk later." I wanted to believe her. I typed, "Hope she's okay," Let me know if you need anything. But something sat heavy in my chest. That man's eyes, her silence, the space between our words. At 6, she called. I'm sorry, she said. Man have fever last night. I stay with phone, no time to look phone. You okay? I asked. Yes, just tired. You angry with me? No, I said, but it came out too fast. You sure? I don't know, that guy last night. You didn't look at me. He cousin, really, just trouble family. Don't worry, okay? I swallowed hard. Okay, she paused. You still want see me tomorrow? Of course I do. I meant it, but part of me was lying, and part of me knew she was too. I hung up and stared at the phone like it might start talking. I didn't want to ask the questions I already feared the answers to. Maybe that made me a coward, or maybe it made me a man who wanted to believe too badly. She was quiet the next morning, but she showed up. We sat outside the cafe and didn't talk much. You sleep okay? I asked. Little bit, she said. Nan's still sick. Fawn take her to clinic. Is she okay now? Have fever, but doctors say not serious. I watched her stir her coffee. Her eyes were heavy, like she hadn't slept, or maybe like she was somewhere else. If you need anything for Nan, I said, just tell me. I'll help. She looked up slowly. No need, she whispered. You already do so much. I mean it, Molly. I care about you. And I care about her, too. You're not alone anymore. She nodded, but there was hesitation in her face. You sure? I don't want to be problem for you. You're not a problem, I said. You're the reason I'm still here. I meant every word, but something inside me was unsettled. That cousin still lingered in my thoughts. She never brought him up again. I didn't either. Maybe I should have. 2 days later, we were walking near the night market when she stopped suddenly. Can I ask something? Anything. She hesitated. You know, before COVID, I borrow money from friend. I still pay. It's hard. How much? I asked. 50,000 baht, she said. Little more, maybe. I send home. My sister help with Nan. I nodded. What happens if you don't pay? He take motorbike, she said, and maybe come shout at shop. I feel shame. Let me take care of it. No, she said quickly. I not ask you for money. I tired. So many problem. I don't want lie to you. I'm not angry. I just want to understand and help if I can. You already help me, Gary, every day. She looked at me then, and her eyes were wet. Before you, I feel small. Now I feel human again. I didn't know what to say. I just reached out and held her hand. We stood in silence while people walked past us with grilled squid and plastic bags. I wanted to believe everything. That it was just debt, just stress, just bad luck. But in the back of my mind I wondered, why now? Why not tell me sooner? Why only after that man showed up? That night, back at my hotel, I sat on the edge of the bed and pulled cash out of the drawer. Not for her, for peace, for control. I messaged her. Let's meet tomorrow. I want to give you something for Nan and the motorbike. She replied. No, you don't have to. I stared at the screen. I want to. She didn't fight it. Just sent a heart emoji. And I told myself again what I always did. This isn't love, not yet. But it could be. If I just kept giving it the space to grow. I woke up and checked my phone. Nothing from her. No good morning. No reply to my message from the night before. I waited an hour, then 2. I called once just to hear it ring. It didn't. Straight to voicemail. Around noon I walked to the shop. The gate was shut, lights off. I asked the lady next door if Molly was sick. She shrugged, said, No, come today. I walked the back streets near her building, hoping I might spot her. Maybe stepping out for lunch, maybe buying mangoes like she always did. Nothing. By sunset, I was pacing. I called again. Nothing. That night, I sat in the hotel room staring at the ceiling fan, heart pounding harder than it had any right to. I didn't eat. I didn't move. I told myself not to panic, but it felt like something had snapped loose. The next morning, still silence. I walked the length of the beach twice, gripping my phone like it might suddenly buzz if I held it hard enough. Around 4 in the afternoon, I got a message. Just one line. Sorry. My family problem. No worry. That was it. No name, no explanation, just distance. I replied, "Are you okay? What happened? Can I help?" No response. I sent another message. Then another. Nothing. That night, I drank beer I didn't want and watched shadows move across the hotel walls like ghosts. I kept hearing her voice, the way she said, "You spoil me too much," the way her hand found mine without words. I told myself maybe her phone broke. Maybe she went back to Hawaii to see her daughter. Maybe that man, whoever he was, got involved again. But deep down, I knew I was grasping. I knew what it felt like to be left, and this had the same taste. On day 3, I stopped walking to the shop. I sat in the same chair on the hotel balcony and stared out over the street like she might appear. I hated how much I missed her. I hated how powerless I felt, but most of all, I hated that I still hoped. On the 4th day, a new message came. "I okay now, sorry. Just too much family thing. I call you soon. That's all." No mention of missing me. No sign of warmth. No call came. Just that message, sitting there like a question I was too afraid to answer, and somehow I still held on. Like maybe if I waited long enough, the girl who held my hand at the temple would come back and explain everything. She showed up 5 days later like nothing happened. I was sitting at the cafe alone, same chair I'd been in every morning since she vanished, and suddenly she was standing there, hair tied back, no makeup, holding a small plastic bag. "You eat already?" she asked. I looked up, trying not to show what I felt. "Not yet." She sat down slowly. "Sorry I not call. Everything too much. My sister fighting with husband. Nan sick again. I stay there. I forget everything else." I stared at her. "You forgot me?" She flinched. "No, I just didn't know what to say. You could have said anything." "I know," she whispered. "I'm not good with phone. I not like to explain sad thing." I didn't say anything. I just looked at her, really looked, and for the first time, I didn't know if I trusted her. She reached into the bag and handed me a bottle of tea. "Your favorite," she said, "from 7-Eleven. I took it, held it, but didn't open it. "You okay now?" "A little," she said. "Still tired, but I miss you." That hit me harder than it should have. "Why didn't you say that?" "Because I didn't want you angry, or think I use you, or think bad woman." I took a breath. I didn't know what to think, Molly. I waited, I worried, and I kept thinking, maybe she's gone for good. "I think about you too," she said. "But sometimes I feel too small to call." "I don't need you to be perfect," I said. "I just need you to be real." She reached across the table and put her hand on mine, and even though it felt familiar, something about it had changed. Her touch was there, but it didn't reach as deep. "You still want to see me?" she asked. "Yes," I said, "but I'm scared now. That one day you'll disappear again." "I try not to," she said, "but my life is messy." "So is mine," I replied. We sat there in silence for a long time. She didn't cry. I didn't ask more questions. We just drank our tea and watched tuk-tuks pass. I should have walked away. I should have ended it. But I didn't. Because even with the cracks, she was still the closest thing I'd felt to love in a long, long time. It's been 7 months since I met her. I didn't go back home. I renewed the room again, bought a little kettle for tea, and left most of my old life behind without much ceremony. She comes by most mornings now, usually with rice and something spicy wrapped in banana leaves. "Eat before medicine," she always says, placing the food gently on the table. Sometimes we talk. Sometimes we don't. One morning I asked, "You happy with me?" She didn't answer right away, just peeled her eggs slowly and said, "You make my life softer." I nodded. That's not a yes. She looked at me. Happy is a big word, but I feel peace with you. I didn't push it. I think I understood what she meant. Peace was all I'd ever wanted, really. I've helped pay for her daughter's school, not the whole thing, just enough to ease her burden. I don't want you to feel like you owe me, I told her once. She looked hurt. I never feel like that. You help because you kind, not because I ask. Some nights she stays over. Other nights she says she's tired or needs to be with her niece. I don't ask questions anymore. I used to, but the answers never made me feel better. I still wonder if that man was really her cousin. I still wonder what happened during those 5 days. But wondering doesn't change anything. I asked her recently, do you see a future with me? She said, future come by itself. Why worry too soon? I let it go. I always let it go. Because when we're sitting side by side, eating mango with sticky rice in silence, I feel more whole than I ever did in my old world. I ran into another expat once. His name was Don. He asked how long I'd been in Phuket. I said, almost a year. He laughed. So, you get cleaned out yet? I looked at him and said, not yet. Maybe never. You got a girl? He asked. Kind of. He shook his head. Watch your wallet. I smiled but didn't respond. He didn't know Molly, and maybe I didn't either, but I knew how I felt when she tucked my towel in the bathroom or brought me fresh limes for my tea. I knew how it felt when her hand found mine in the middle of a market crowd. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't even certain. But it was something real enough to keep me here. I'm not proud of how much I gave, or how little I questioned. I'm not saying I found a fairy tale. I didn't. I found a woman with her own scars, her own silence, and a heart that sometimes closed like a fist. But she's still here. And so am I. And every morning she walks through that door, I tell myself, I chose this. Maybe it's not everything I dreamed, but it's more than I had. I didn't plan to stay in Phuket this long. I used to count the weeks like they meant something. Now I count mornings by how many times she shows up with tea and a soft smile. Some days she's late. Some days she's distant. Some days she's so warm it hurts, but I've stopped trying to define it. One night I asked, do you love me, Molly? She was brushing her hair, sitting on the edge of the bed. You always ask questions that make me quiet, she said. I waited. She didn't look at me, just said, love is hard word. I don't want to lie to you. I nodded slowly. Then don't say it, just keep showing up. And she did. That's what kept me here, not the answer, just the showing up. I still send money sometimes. Not because she asks, but because I want her life to be easier. I know she's not mine in the way I once dreamed. She has her own world, her own walls. But I'm in it enough to matter. That's something. I see it in the way she checks if I've eaten, or how she always remembers which foot still aches in the cold. I've let go of the fantasy. I don't picture weddings or promises anymore. I picture mornings like this. Quiet, shared, enough. My son finally replied to one of my emails. Short, a couple of photos of the grandkids. I stared at the screen longer than I needed to. I almost wrote back, I will, eventually, but I'm not in a hurry. The old Gary needed answers. This version of me just needs peace. I see other foreigners come and go. Some brag, some cry, some swear they'll never trust a woman in Asia again. I don't say much to them. I just smile, sip my tea, and go home to my rented room that smells like lemongrass and old paint. This wasn't the ending I expected. I thought I'd either lose everything or win something, clear. But this middle place, is where I found myself. I still don't know if Molly will be here next year. Maybe one day I'll come to the cafe and she just won't show. Maybe I'll find out she had someone else all along. Or maybe, just maybe, she'll keep choosing to walk beside me, one day at a time. And if not, well, at least for a little while, I got to feel alive again. That's more than I ever thought I'd get.